My name is Isla Bennett, and once upon a time, I believed my coding could change the world. 11 years ago, I walked into the Seattle headquarters of High-End Dynamics carrying nothing but a refurbished laptop and a relentless hunger to prove myself. I had grown up in a Rust Belt town in western Pennsylvania where a computer, let alone Wi-Fi, was out of reach for my family. So I taught myself Python in the corner of a dusty public library. The algorithms I wrote always felt more like structures than scripts, long-lasting lines of logic, almost like architecture. And for me, High-End's data orchestration platform became the cathedral I poured my life into. I skipped vacations, worked through the night, and let friendships and relationships slip away, all for that vision. Then, one rainy Tuesday morning, everything collapsed. An email arrived. No greeting, no signature, just the subject line. Your position has been terminated. That was it. No reason, no explanation, only a disabled Slack account and 11 years of work reduced to a ghosted login. I sat in my small Capitol Hill apartment, eating dry oatmeal from a cracked bowl, still in week-old pajamas, the only sound the low whir of my ancient air purifier. My freelancing site sat open on my laptop, crowded with listings begging for young, hungry developers to hustle for equity and free snacks. One posting demanded an AI/ML ninja must relocate. I almost laughed, until another headline caught my eye. High-End merger collapses over software rights dispute. My chest tightened. The $600 million deal High-End had boasted about for months had fallen apart because of a core architecture conflict, and I knew exactly what that meant. That architecture was me. I had built it. Every function, every patch, every backbone, line of code. They could fire me, but they couldn't erase me. The very next morning, I discovered a thick legal envelope slipped under my door. The letterhead read, Carson and Adler LLP, San Francisco. With shaking hands, I unfolded it. Dear Miss Bennett, we represent Arian Technologies in the proposed acquisition of High-End Dynamics. We request a meeting to discuss your rights in relation to U.S. Patent number 10,456,789, which lists you as the sole inventor. I blinked at the words. A patent? Mine? I didn't even remember filing one. Trembling, I searched the USPTO database. The page loaded slowly, but when it did, there was no mistaking it. My name, my code, my diagrams, all signed off years ago. Dynamic Cloud Load Optimization Framework. Inventor, Isla R. Bennett. No High-End, no Mason, no co-developers, just me. Suddenly, memories flooded back. 6 years earlier, Dr. Martin Keene, my mentor and former CTO, had handed me a manila folder late one evening. You're filing this patent yourself, he'd insisted. I protested. It was the legal team's job. He shook his head. No, they'll bury it. File it yourself, keep your name on it, and when the storm comes, you'll have your lifeboat. I'd thought he was being dramatic. But now I saw the truth. Martin had known. And he'd given me a fuse that High-End had just ignited. That night, I couldn't sleep. I covered my apartment with Post-its, scribbled system flows on takeout menus, and retraced every API call, determined to recall every line of code they had tried to erase. At 3:17 a.m., staring at the glowing patent number, I realized this wasn't just work. This was proof. The following morning, when I sat down with Arian's legal team, High-End wouldn't be staring at the developer they fired. They'd be staring at the woman who owned the very system their future relied on. High-End had cut me loose to smooth their $600 million merger, unaware that I held the deed to the foundation of their empire. They thought I was disposable. Instead, they'd armed me. And this time, I wasn't building someone else's legacy. I was defending my own. She was right. 3 days later, my phone lit up with a name I hadn't seen in more than a year, Priya. We'd once spent endless nights fixing bugs together before she was promoted into middle management. Her voice trembled when she spoke. Isla, Mason asked me to reach out. He wants to settle this quietly. I closed my eyes, anger and grief colliding in my chest like static. They were using her, the same way they had used me. Tell Mason to speak with my lawyer, I said, firmly. And Priya, don't let them exploit you the way they did me. My hands shook as I ended the call, not from fear, but from the power of finally reclaiming my ground. That night, Lydia forwarded me a message from Arian's legal team. They were ready to deal directly. No intermediaries, no distractions, just me. The next morning, I stepped into Arian's Seattle boardroom, all glass and steel, sleek minimalism hiding the billions at stake. I wore the same black blazer I had once used for code demos. Across the table sat Mason Caldwell, sweat blooming at his collar despite his carefully practiced composure. 2 lawyers flanked him, smug and silent. Lydia sat beside me, calm as fire, sealed in glass. Mason flashed his signature grin, the same one that had won him applause at conferences and TEDx talks. Isla, great to see you. Let's clear this up. No drama, just progress. I let the silence stretch, forcing him to fill it. He leaned on nostalgia, praising my loyalty, my relentlessness, his voice thick with regret. Then he slid a contract. Across the table, a payout, a consultant role, a mention in the press release. All the trappings of being tolerated rather than valued. Let's fix this patent mix-up, he said. Lydia's gaze sharpened. Mix-up? You mean the patent Miss Bennett owns outright? I leaned forward, my tone even but sharp as glass. I built your platform, Mason. Every line of code, every 2 a.m. fix. While you were test driving luxury cars, you fired me with a blank email. No subject, no name, no decency. And now your deal's dead because you never realized what you had. From my bag, I produced my own document. Notice of exclusive negotiations with Arian. Mason's face paled. His attorneys looked gutted. I smiled politely. This isn't a negotiation, Mason. It's a handover. And I'm not the one sweating. They're licensing the patent from me. You're not in the deal. Mason's complexion turned the color of faded printer paper. His lawyers sat in stunned silence. Isla, wait, he stammered. I stood. Lydia gathered our things. Good luck with your board, I said coolly. I hear they're not pleased. We walked out, leaving a silence so heavy it could fracture glass. I didn't need his apology. I already had his downfall. Now my office at Arian overlooks Elliott Bay. The skyline gleams like it finally knows my name. The steel plaque on my door reads, Bennett, Chief IP Strategist. No junior, no interim, no footnote. 3 days ago, Arian bought the patent outright, then offered me a job with a salary so staggering, I stared at the number before I could even smile. The signing bonus alone erased my mother's medical debt, cleared my student loans, and left enough for a down payment on a condo with real sunlight. I'm not rationing oatmeal anymore. Meanwhile, High-End Dynamics is collapsing. TechCrunch, VentureWire, even the Journal Report lawsuits, investigations, Mason under scrutiny for negligence, his empire bleeding out across headlines. He left me. A voicemail, 48 seconds of regret. I never listened. I forwarded it to Martin with a note. Me, 1. He replied with a gif of a wolf howling at the moon. I laughed, then deleted everything. Mason's voice has no weight here. His world is ash, and I lit the match. Now I sip coffee in my corner. Office, not instant mix, but beans roasted by a women-led co-op. A small luxury once unimaginable, now a fuel. I don't feel like a queen or a destroyer. I feel free, free of the grind that devoured my 20s, free from watching others take credit for my code, free from begging to be seen. I'm no longer the girl in sweatpants crying over unpaid bills. I'm the woman who built the backbone of high-end system and then walked away with its soul. Now I build something else. Not just cleaner code, but a cleaner future. High-end can drown in their lawsuits, their stock options, their hollow press tours. I have a life that doesn't look like their version of progress. Each morning I step into my office and still feel stunned by its quiet. The calm you only notice after living in chaos. This isn't just a job. It's a life I once thought impossible, debugging with tears in my eyes and stale cereal in my cup. Sometimes I think about my old cubicle, the flickering light, the peeling posters, Mason's voice making promises he never meant to keep. That girl still lives inside me, but she's no longer at the wheel. Last week, I found a photo from my first year at High End. Me in the back, half smile, still believing we were building something meaningful. Martin's in it too, smirking like he already knew where this would end. He saw the storm and handed me the umbrella. Now I'm building again at Arian. Not just for myself, but for a future where engineers don't get erased, where brilliance isn't discarded for someone's golf buddy. It's slower, but it's mine. High End's headlines are fading. Mason is probably crafting his next pitch deck. I don't care. I'm not angry anymore. I'm done. I have my coffee, my cat Pixel curled in the sunlight, and a future born from the ashes they left me in. That's enough. To everyone who followed this journey, thank you. You walked with me through betrayal, into battle, and into a sunrise we earned. If my story meant something to you, subscribe and stay. We'll keep telling stories of grit, justice, and the long game. Because every keystroke, every quiet fight can build something no one saw coming.